The Formula One world is no stranger to high-pressure environments, public scrutiny, and political tension behind the scenes. But every so often, a story emerges that shines a harsher light on how unforgiving and unfiltered this sport can be for the human beings inside those iconic garage walls. Today, we're going to look deeply at one of those stories, the unraveling of Sergio Perez's relationship with Red Bull Racing, and what it reveals not just about the team, but about the culture of Formula One in 2024 and beyond. For months, speculation swirled about Perez's contract, his future, and his ability to perform next to the dominant force that is Max Verstappen. What we now know is that Sergio Perez did, in fact, sign a contract extension with Red Bull as early as the Monaco Grand Prix. On paper, it was a deal that should have provided stability. It should have shut down the noise and allowed Perez to focus purely on racing. But instead, everything went the opposite direction. In a recent podcast appearance alongside former racer Memo Rojas Jr., Perez opened up publicly for the first time about what really happened inside Red Bull after that extension. And what he revealed paints a sobering picture of a high-performance team unintentionally creating a toxic environment around one of their own. Perez didn't mince words when describing how the team, rather than shielding him from the constant rumors and speculation, allowed the pressure to mount. He believes this pressure wasn't just external. It was actively fueled by voices inside the team, whether directly or through omission. Once the Monaco contract was signed, Perez expected the team to step up and publicly confirm it, silencing the growing chorus of speculation. But that support never came. Instead, every weekend that followed became a question mark. Was he staying? Was Red Bull already considering a replacement? The media fed off the silence. And inside the garage, the weight of that pressure didn't just rest on Sergio's shoulders. It seeped into the engineering staff, the strategists, the mechanics. The energy around the number 2 car shifted. The team became split in spirit, if not in structure. From the outside, it might have looked like Perez was simply underperforming. But behind the scenes, there was a ripple effect. Morale took a hit. Focus wavered. The engineers on his side of the garage were operating under constant stress, unsure of their future. And in a sport measured in milliseconds, that kind of instability is enough to unravel results. Despite holding a signed contract, Perez was subjected to an unrelenting narrative about his replacement. Red Bull, known for their unapologetically high standards, didn't intervene to correct the record or provide public assurance. To Perez, that silence was deafening. It sent a message, not just to him, but to the entire team, that his position was no longer secure, no matter what the paperwork said. The fallout was swift and painful. By the end of the season, Red Bull had made the decision to part ways with Perez despite the fact that no replacement driver could match his points tally or replicate his podium finishes. Liam Lawson, a promising New Zealander, was brought in and lasted just 2 races. After that, Red Bull turned to Yuki Tsunoda, who has yet to deliver the consistent results the team had hoped for. In fact, since Perez's departure, Red Bull has dropped significantly in the Constructors' Championship standings. They now sit 4th, a stunning fall for a team that only recently dominated the sport. This has not gone unnoticed by Perez. Quiet as he's been since leaving the team, he now claims that Red Bull internally regrets how it handled the situation. According to Perez, a reliable source within the organization has confirmed that leadership is remorseful. The words weren't meant to be bitter or boastful. In fact, Perez was clear. He takes no joy in the team's current struggles. There's no sense of revenge or vindication. His tone is one of disappointment. He remembers the good days, the wins, the podiums, the teamwork, and he sees how it all slowly came apart. One of the turning points, according to Perez, was the departure of Red Bull's legendary technical guru, Adrian Newey. Newey's presence, experience, and visionary design work had long been the foundation of Red Bull's success. When he left for Aston Martin, the team lost more than just a designer. They lost a sense of creative direction and cohesion. For a team like Red Bull, which operates on the edge of innovation, the loss of someone like Newey is more destabilizing than it may appear from the outside. Perez also pointed to the departure of another key figure, Jonathan Wheatley, Red Bull's long-serving sporting director. Wheatley was known as a unifying force within the team, someone who maintained discipline and harmony in the garage while navigating the complex operational side of racing. Losing both Newey and Wheatley within a short span disrupted the ecosystem. Red Bull didn't just lose people, they lost pillars. The Mexican driver acknowledged that Red Bull's dominance wasn't built on a massive advantage, like the Mercedes hybrid engine era. Instead, their success was built on precision, teamwork, and marginal gains. That kind of edge is razor-thin and fragile. Without unity, even the smallest cracks can become performance-defining. And that's exactly what happened. Red Bull's decline was not just about numbers on the timing sheets. It was a cultural shift, a slow erosion of trust and direction. The same environment that had once supported back-to-back championships for Max Verstappen now struggled to maintain consistency across both cars. And while Verstappen continues to be a formidable force, Red Bull as a team no longer carries the same aura of invincibility. Interestingly, some of the public comments from Helmut Marko during that time have aged poorly. He had suggested that Red Bull's failure to secure the constructors' title was due to Perez's performance. The implication being that if Perez had performed at Verstappen's level, the team would have succeeded. But looking at Red Bull's current position without Perez, now fourth in the standings, it becomes harder to justify that narrative. Marko's statement that team members would lose their bonuses due to Perez's shortcomings seemed particularly harsh at the time. Now, with the team continuing to struggle in the same areas and under the same structural conditions, it's clear that the problem was never one man's fault. Red Bull's challenges are systemic. They go beyond driver performance and touch the core of how a high-level organization functions under pressure. What makes this story so important for the F1 community is that it reminds us how much of the sport we don't see. Behind the highlight reels and telemetry data, behind the lap times and overtakes, there are people. People who feel the pressure. People who are affected by management decisions, public narratives, and team dynamics. Perez's story isn't just about his exit. It's a case study in how communication, leadership, and support structures shape performance. It's about the human cost of silence. And perhaps most strikingly, it's about what happens when a team begins to lose the very qualities that once made them great. This is why stories like these need to be told. Not for gossip, but for growth. Formula One, as competitive and cutthroat as it is, also depends on trust, transparency, and emotional intelligence. And in Sergio Perez's case, the breakdown of those elements turned what should have been a celebratory chapter into a cautionary tale. The takeaway here is not just that Red Bull mishandled a contract or that they regret losing a capable driver. It's that even the best teams can lose their way if they don't nurture the people behind the performance. Talent alone is not enough. Contract alone are not enough. The real strength of a Formula One team lies in how it protects and empowers every member under its roof. Sergio Perez may be out of the Red Bull garage for now, but his story is one that will echo through the paddock for years to come. And for fans, it serves as a reminder to look deeper. Every driver has a story. Every team has a culture. And sometimes, the truth lies in the quiet moments, between the races, between the headlines, and within the walls of a garage under pressure. Let this be a turning point in how we talk about drivers, how we assess teams, and how we appreciate the complex and human side of this incredible sport. Because Formula One is not just about who finishes first. It's about what it takes to get there, and who gets left behind in the process. Hello, McLaren faithful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss any McLaren and F1 updates with relaxing ASMR elements. Your support helps this incredible community grow stronger every day, and it's a small effort that goes a long way. Even if you can't contribute in other ways, it's completely free to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to keep the conversation going and share our passion for McLaren and F1. Your support helps keep the community thriving. Thank you for being part of McLaren Faithful.